What'd you have for breakfast?
Today?
Yeah, this is going to be a deep probing interview, and I want to know what exactly you had for breakfast.
A large OJ, which I made myself, an orange juice, 8 ounces.
Yeah.
Some vitamin C, vitamin E, a Theragram multivitamin, some roast pork fuyang on a bed of lettuce, and I had some white bread that I soak in warm water all the time because I like it. It's easier to chew. And I had an English muffin ladled with honey and myrrh on it, and I had some hot cocoa and some rum, and you baste it on the edges, and then I had some more Italian food and some linguine, and yes, to get the day off to a nice light start.
Yes. Did they carry you here as a result of this? I really know that you are concerned about your diet and all.
I'm a health
remember you
food
once
addict.
bought a book on cholesterol. We were wandering on an avenue in Hollywood once, and bought a book on cholesterol. Do you count your cholesterol? Do you worry about the pork fuyang?
I do. I worry about dying from something, from anything, but cholesterol. I would not like to die. I don't want to die from a heart attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will accept any other kind of death, but I don't want to keel over in mid-sentence, or die as I'm speaking to you now, for instance. I don't like to die on a late-night show. I want to die in prime time if I can.
I used to think of during a comedy act on stage in a nightclub, where you do die in the other sense often. That would be probably the most ludicrous way to go.
To keel over face forward with your head hitting the footlights. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. I don't want a heart attack, and so I try and eat without cholesterol if I possibly can. I eat unsaturated fats and glucose and lactose and I eat stuff like that, and I remain slim and thin.
Do you find if somebody has a cold around you, it drives you nuts? You avoid them and.
Yes, I think they're weak if they have a cold around me.
Yeah.
Because I do. Because I don't, I don't like to. I don't think I can take disease. I'm not one. I don't like to be sneezed on by people.
I once did an entire interview with Marlo Thomas, who had a cold on the show, and I had some notes, and I held them like this throughout the entire interview. And to this day, she doesn't know what I look like. It's a curious thing.
You don't want. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all right.
I had nothing to say.
I realized that I don't know, but I didn't either. So I realized that I didn't know exactly what your marital status is at the moment, even though I know you. Are you officially single now, or semi-officially single?
I'm single.
Yeah.
In the sense of not being married. If you know what I mean. I can do anything I like to anyone I like. With their consent.
Well, it's a long show, and.
Yes, I'm single.
I was thinking sometime you ought to really write a serious book on women and marriage, because you've been through, how many, 2?
I was married 2 times.
2 full times.
Once and then once again.
Mm-hmm. Do you think when you've been married twice that you caught on to the first marriage what would make a second marriage work? Do you know what I mean? And then is it a shock when you find that the thing you thought you learned from the first marriage doesn't work in the second marriage?
Right, because you apply everything that you learned in the first marriage to the second girl. And that's a problem, because the second girl is nothing like the first girl if you're lucky. And that's exactly what I did. I made a certain amount of mistakes in my first marriage, like showing up, and because of it, I tried to learn from those mistakes and gain a certain wisdom. And in my second marriage, I applied these little nuances and tricks and little moves and things that I was able to accumulate over the years, and that marriage lasted shorter than my first marriage.
So there's just no way to know. Now, would you take a third one, a third dive?
From who?
Third chance? No, would you take a chance on a third marriage?
I would marry again, I think, if the opportunity presented itself in a way that enabled me to feel that there was a chance of it succeeding.
Yeah. But is there
This is not a proposal, is it?
No. It's a long show, however. Is there a type that you look for? Do you have a certain set of characteristics that you see? There goes Miss Right.
Yeah, but, you'll hate me if I say it. I like pretty girls. I'm old-fashioned that way. I like girls that are pretty and earthy looking, almost broad. I'd rather she was overweight than underweight, and long hair, and straggly, Earth Mother, sexual kind of animal, disgusting types, you know. And that's right. You really see them there with the blouse and dirty and everything, and I enjoy that because the thought of what you could do with them later is wonderful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like them to be intelligent and have a good sense of humor, to anticipate my needs, and be aggressive without being masculine. I like a girl who will perform any act without any problem, and a girl that doesn't like to cook and doesn't like to do home things, and a girl, her religious convictions don't matter whatsoever, and just about anybody.
Yeah. Would you ever go on a blind date?
I would not go on a blind date because I used to go on blind dates, and they were not successful for me for the most part. The trouble with a blind date is the anticipation of the girl that you're going to get on the date never comes out to be what you actually wind up with. So you have wonderful thoughts of you'll open the door and this girl will be there and she'll be sensational. Then you meet her, and she's like playing with a rubber tire hanging from a chain in the living room. It's depressing, and everybody goes through the same thing because you can't. There's no way to beat that blind date thing because what you build up when you hear you have a blind date and they say the girl's name is like Gloria or something. I said Gloria at random because I don't know any Glorias, and you think you're going to get a real package of wonderfulness. They sound great over the phone and everything, and there's no way the girl can live up to it. Also, there's no way you can live up to her expectation. I have a dread of knocking on the door on a blind date, and the girl opening the door and looking at me, and her face falling, and, that look where she says, or when I was younger, where they used to look at me, and they'd say, oh, come in, forcing a smile on their face, and I would sit down, and they would run back in their bedroom and take their heels off and put on flats all the time,
yes, I used to get that.
Sure, because they used to tower over me on those...
Oh, I hated that.